Well, Happy New Year. 2025 is upon us. And I want to go through and talk about some things that you can do this year that's going to make it a banner year for you. And a lot of that comes down to really looking at some healthy habits, not just for your health physically, but also psychologically and emotionally. So I'm going to go through and talk about what most people get stuck in is they make New Year's resolutions and they usually only last about 2 weeks into January. Sometimes they're lucky if they get through the first month. And I want to talk about maybe some tips that can help you overcome that and maybe have a year that you just get rolling in the beginning of 2025 in January and you're hitting your stride by March all the way. So first, number one, here's the number one tip I'm going to give you. You have to set SMART goals. What are SMART goals? SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Most people say, well, my New Year's resolution is I'm going to lose 30 pounds this year, or 40 pounds. That's kind of a broad thing. It's not specific, but it's not measurable. Like how often you're going to be checking to see when you're on your way to those 30 pounds. You got to lose about a pound or two a week. So you're talking about 30 weeks of really dedication. Achievable isn't achievable to lose a pound a week. That's 3,000 calories less that you have to eat per week. So if you're talking about 500 calories a day times 6, you got to cut your intake by that. So again, is it achievable? Is it realistic? And is there a time limit on it? So I would think monthly goals, sometimes weekly goals, when you have a bigger goal down the line is important. So SMART goals, very important. Start small and build momentum. So many times people really get a big idea, well, I'm gonna start exercise and I'm gonna really get into going to the gym 6 days a week, 5 days a week. Why don't you just go 2 days a week? In other words, start small, get really consistent with that. And then you can build momentum up to maybe a third day where you're doing some cardio and then lifting and rotating, cross training, swimming. Start small. Start with something that's really, and then build up from that. That's number 2. Number 3 is personalize your approach. A lot of times people jump on things they think are what they need to be looking at for the new year. Instead of saying, what do I need for me personally that I really need to get a handle on? And it might be dietary when it comes to cholesterol. You can look at your diet and say, hey, am I eating right? Maybe it's fiber. Maybe it's a lot of things that you're just saying to yourself, what do I need to do right now? Instead of what's everybody else doing. Personalize the approach and really set goals that they can be adjusted as you need it as you go along, but it's got to be personalized. It's got to be something for you. That's number 3. Number 4, leverage support systems. Never in our history of man has there been so much at your fingertips between online and between coaches and people that are willing to do online courses, people that are willing to teach you. YouTube, you're seeing that right now. There's so much available to us for support, but individual support is so important, and you might have to find some people in your circle that maybe has some similar objectives, and you can maybe talk with them on a regular basis and do things together, especially when it comes to exercise. That's a great one. And the last thing is to track your progress and stay flexible. You have to find a way to look back and hold yourself accountable and say, okay, how'd I do? Now, I know that some people say, well, I'm just stay flexible when it comes to my diet. I'm gonna have a cheat day every week. There's certain things you have to do to stay flexible, but then there's other things you're doing that might be hurting you. So you have to really examine and say, okay, I'm gonna track my progress. I'm gonna be flexible. I'm gonna get back on track if I get off track, but how much of that do I wanna do and how much do I wanna just stay on track and go all the way to my goal? And I tell you what, it's simple. You can do it by just doing some small bite-sized things and build momentum and get those SMART goals working for us. Hope that tip helps. You have a very happy and healthy new year. And I know 2025 is gonna be your best year ever. God bless.